Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. I have something special for you today. I have 3 decks that I'm going to be showing to you, and I might be biting off more than I can chew. But I want to try doing a side-by-side of these 3 decks, which have just arrived into my library. The first one is the Gnostic Tarot, which is a deck that was painted with very large paintings specifically for a tarot, and was published posthumous after the painter had passed away. So there's this deck, and then there is the Margarete Petersen deck, which I've been wanting. And frankly, I'd wanted the first edition with the white box, and I thought I was getting the white box because that's the image that was shown on the seller's page. But as some of us know, the image on the page is not always the actual thing. But I'm happy with this. I'm happy I got this. This is the Great Britain, the UK edition of the Margarete Petersen Tarot, which is a deck I need to check, I think is painted for the Tarot. This is the William Blake Tarot. This is a deck that is a curated deck. It's curated art. Yeah, somebody took William Blake's paintings and arranged them to form a tarot deck, which is wonderful. And this is the 2nd edition, the revised edition. This 2nd edition is no longer in print, but the 3rd edition is. So this deck is, in a sense, in print, with different cardstock. Perhaps like the borders are different. This deck is not in print, but you can still find copies in the European market, on Amazon even, or Abe's Books. This deck is an indie deck, and you can find it as well. So they're available. Margarete Petersen, perhaps a little less so, but they're all available. And they're all very arty decks. They're very art-based decks, and they're perhaps more, and I put it in air quotes, intuitive decks, because they don't follow the symbolism and the imagery of what we would normally think of as Pamela Colman Smith's art. They're not exactly Rider-Waite-Smith, they're not exactly Toth, they're definitely not Marseille. There's something entirely in and of themselves. They're art, they are tarot decks, and I'd like to see how they look together and to see if there are any commonalities, if we can pull images that make us think of, yes, I can see the Fool in this one, or it's more difficult to see the Fool in this one, or what the heck is going on here. So, like I said, I might be biting off a little bit more than I can chew, but let's dive in and look at these. They're gorgeous decks. One way or the other, they are gorgeous art. Let's take a look at them together. Welcome back. And this is the way I'm going to arrange the 3 decks in the recording space. We're going to start from left to right with the William Blake Tarot of the Creative Imagination, and this was edited by Ed Byrne. The Margarete Petersen Tarot is going to be in the center, and the Gnostic Tarot, which was edited by Chris Leach, is going to be on the right, edited and published. So I'll put them in this order, and just in case you're curious why I decided to put them in this order, the reason is, well, first, these 2 boxes are green, and this one is more of a burgundy. And so I thought, let's put the burgundy one in the center. Also, these 2 are done by men, and this one is done by a woman. So I thought I'd put the woman's deck in the center as well. I mean, those are just the things that are bopping around, bouncing around my mind as I decided to arrange these decks, and the order is not important. They're not by any specific meaningful order just because this is the way they seem to look good to me. Okay, so again, these are the decks. Now, the Gnostic Tarot also came with this wonderful book, a large printed book. This is printed by Welkin. That's the name of the publisher. And this is a rich text. This book comes with a lot of information for each card. We've got an insert in color for each card, a good description, and let's see. So this is for the, this is a court card for the minors. The majors have, let's see, majors have a little bit more information. No, that's water. So the amount of information for each card is a little bit different. Yeah, so for example, here's the 9 of Wands, 9 of Fire. We've got 2 inserts. So we've got the large image, and then we have a small image with A and B, so that we can see that A is the self, B is the shadow, and then we get a description of the card, including what A and B signify, and then more information here. Yeah. Upright readings and reverse readings are also indicated. Traditional cartomancy meanings are indicated. But each card has its own amount of information depending on what the compiler thought the reader needed. So we start off with the minor arcana, and then we move into the majors, I believe, towards the back. Yes, so for the Hierophant, for example, we've got an insert in color. We have a description of the card as seen in the card. And you see we have much more information. The Lovers, because this image is so complex, we have a second image so we can piece out what part of the image is what. And then each part is described. So here for the Lovers, we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And so A is the self, B is the other, C is the groom's shadow, D is the groom's anima, E is the bride's animus, F is the child, G is the archetype, H is the parrot. So this is all a Jungian-based deck, just so you know, if you hadn't figured that out yet. Wonderful book. Greatly, greatly recommended for this deck. And it comes in a 2-part box. The Margarete Petersen also comes in a 2-part box. The William Blake, at least the second edition, comes in a tuck box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open these boxes for us right now. Let's see, the William Blake's tuck box is going to open very easily, thank goodness. And inside there's plastic, so I may want to, let's see, how difficult is this plastic going to be to remove? I took the outer plastic off of the boxes, but I did not take off this. Let's see, look at the other decks. So that's what the backs of the William Blake second edition look like. The Margarete Petersen comes with a nice little book, a little guidebook. Good information, concise, good description of perhaps the creation of the deck is what I'm trying to say. We've got meanings for the cards. There are no images, but that's not always necessary, right? We got the cards. So I'll set that aside. And this one is also wrapped in plastic. This is what the backs look like. And here we go with the Gnostic Tarot. The Gnostic Tarot is not wrapped in plastic, which is nice. Oh, but it has a plastic band. So what I'm going to do, inside of the boxes are very plain for this one and the Margarete Petersen, just so you know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the camera here, and I will take off the plastic and we'll start with the cards. We're back. And for those of us who might be a little bit obsessive about things being lined up and squared off, this might not be the video for you, because I know that as I flip things around and I start pulling off cards, these are going to get off kilter. So just a fair warning. This is what the backs of the decks look like. This again is the William Blake Tarot. This is the Margarete Petersen, and this is the Gnostic Tarot. Lovely backs. Now, as far as size goes, here is a standard tarot size. It's from Make Playing Cards, and they're all larger. The William Blake, the height is the same, but it's a little bit wider. The Margarete Petersen is both wider and taller, as is the Gnostic Tarot, is also wider and taller than a standard Make Playing Cards US Games deck for Tarot. Now I will flip them all over to reveal. Well, this one has a couple of cards, I believe, that give us information about the deck. Well, not so much actually. We got triumphs. We've got the creative process skills: painting, science, music, and poetry. Painting is the embodiment of inner vision, giving form to spirit and path of sensation and spirit. Science, the challenge of self-understanding, striving to know self and world, path of intellect and learning. So music is, okay, I get it. Music is the celebration of life force, feeling with the heart and soul, path of love and beauty. Poetry, the expression of eternal truth, to speak from prophetic integration, path of individuality and revelation. So I believe that painting is the suit of wands, science is the suit of air, music is the suit of water, so poetry must be the suit of earth. I believe that's the order of this. And we're going to start with eternity, which is the 0 card, and I believe is probably the Fool card. Nope, it's not. This is an extra card. So just FYI, the eternity card is not the Fool card. So it's an extra, perhaps the second Fool. Here is the Fool card in the Margarete Petersen, and here is the Fool card in... No, this starts with the Ace. Okay, so let me check the order of these decks now. And it looks like the orders are different, so let me put them in the same order. Just a moment. So here we're back. I've got the cards in order, and I've done what I can to reduce the glare in the recording space, because these decks do shine a little bit. So I've got them ordered from the Fool to the World in the majors, and then I'm going to go from fire to water to air to earth in the minors, and we'll go from Ace to what would probably be the King in that order. So again, this eternity card here is not the Fool. It's an extra card to the William Blake deck. And we see people going up kind of on a stairway to heaven and returning down from the stairway to heaven. Yeah. So this is that idea of that liminal space, I believe, between the World card going back into the Fool card. That's probably what this is trying to show us. And you'll notice this figure here lying on the ground, which is an interesting thing. Maybe this is a dream, perhaps. Okay, so now we're here at the Fool, and we can start doing a comparison. This is going to be challenging because of what I've set up to limit the glare. My area is now boxed in pretty nicely, so I don't have much room to move around. But here we have with the Fool. Yeah, we got the person with the dog here in the William Blake. Interesting, the dog is going into the jaws of the alligator. Fool looks like they're fine. The dog is in big trouble. Here we have a Fool. Do you see the bird instead of a dog nipping at the heels of the Fool in this deck? Here we've got two figures. Which one is the Fool? Which one is the internal self? That's something that the book will help us with. We'll see what the painter was thinking when painting this, when looking at the book? Yeah. Is this the Fool or is this the Fool? Or are these both halves of the same Fool, a masculine and a feminine? I don't like those terms, but that's one looks more male, one looks perhaps more female, although not necessarily so. Very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, we can read these cards in any way that we decide we want to read them. Let's move on to the Magician. Here we go. This is magic instead of magician. And we have magic in the Margarete Petersen, and the Gnostic Tarot has the Magician. Interesting. Very interesting. In the William Blake, we've got perhaps, I can see a kind of as above, so below here. We've got an altar here at the bottom. Magic here. This looks like a mask from perhaps either Africa or maybe Asia. I've seen Asian masks that looked similar to this as well. Here we have a magician. Perhaps instead of 4 elements, we have 4 aspects of self which need to be worked together. And you notice there's a mask here in his hand, in their hand. Perhaps persona here, the mask of persona with the the archetypes inside. Maybe that's what this is pointing towards. Does this look like a large hand to you? Interesting. So this is the magician trying to work magic in the world, but it doesn't look like a very happy magician, does he? Or she, or they, do they? Here we have mystery for the High Priestess. High Priestess in the Margarete Petersen, and in the Gnostic we have the High Priestess. Interesting. Looks something like an Isis kind of figure to me, although it's not Isis. Yeah, there's a pentacle above. We got the 2 pillars here in the Margarete Petersen. We've got water in the background, which is very similar to Pamela Coleman Smith's art. Here we have more than one figure. It looks like an inner child. It looks like this might be the priestess with a mask. Here we have a priestess with figures behind. I love the bat above in the William Blake edition. And here we have the book of knowledge, perhaps, the book of wisdom. Very interesting. Very interesting. And here we have nature for the Empress. Here we have the Empress. Wow, definitely Empress feeling to this Margarete Petersen card. Empress, interesting. So we have nature here for the Empress in the William Blake. The face looks a little bit androgynous to me. The body looks okay, so we don't see a male genitalia here, but there's a kind of androgyny to this figure, which I'm a little bit surprised by. Yeah? These breasts could be pectoral muscles, if you ask me. I mean, if I only saw this part of the figure, I'd say, yeah, that could be a guy. It's very interesting. We have 2 children here below. Here we have one figure and what definitely looks like the image of a vaginal symbol here in the center. Definitely a very female, not feminine, but female image here. And here we've got a lot of figures. Male, female, difficult to tell at first glance. Interesting. I mean, it says clearly at the bottom, Empress, which is wonderful. That helps with the reading. But this is a deck that will require reading for me to see how fertility or how that comes out of these very dark images, right? These the Gnostic Tarot, the images are very, very dark. Dark, not only in color, but in atmosphere. Okay, so here we have reason for the emperor. Here we have the emperor for the emperor, and the emperor for the emperor. Very interesting. Brighter colors in the emperor card here. We have square, a square here in the center, and that fire. A lot of emperor cards in a lot of decks have that red, orange color palette, right? Especially think of the Thoth. Yeah? Red and orange, we've got squares. Here we have a very scientific mind. It's like God bending down and mapping out the universe. Not necessarily God, but I've got that kind of sun god image here. Very interesting. And we go to, oops, sorry, we skipped a card. For the Hierophant, we have religion. And the Hierophant. And what do we have here? The Hierophant. Okay, so what is this? Is this a puppet for religion here with the living figure knocked down on the ground? Bread and wine? Is this the priest, perhaps? Is this the priest and is this the divine figure? Interesting. Here we have a figure in both light and dark, balancing here. Light and dark, fire and this looks like not water, but space. And then here we have, again, in the William Blake, we have religion, and we have the papal crown, it looks like, and two angels here. Doesn't that look like a papal crown to you? But there are wings looking a little bit like the devil to me, to this figure. Although there are two angels below that figure. And there are clouds below that figure. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I just noticed the copyright. Do you see the copyright in the William Blake now? I just noticed that. Don't see the copyright in either the Margarete Petersen or in the Gnostic, which is good. Now the Gnostic Tarot is an indie deck, so that's why. But the Margarete Petersen is mass produced, so it's nice not to have that copyright symbol here. And we got a little one right here, just at the bottom of the borders. Knowledge. So this is the Lover card, and instead of the Lover card in the William Blake, we've got Knowledge. Although we do have a central figure here, looking perhaps like Venus, and perhaps a male and female couple ready for marriage. So instead of an angel in the middle, we've got perhaps a goddess in the middle, maybe a love goddess or goddess of knowledge. Maybe the correct interpretation. For this Lover's card here in the Margarete Petersen, I see two colored hands here, giving us that partnership perhaps. I see faces here. And in the Lover's card in the Gnostic Tarot, there are a lot of people here, a lot of faces. Face, 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 face. Child. Oh yes, there were many people in the book. I remember that. And this bird. This very large hand in relative to perhaps either of these figures. This hand looks very large. I wonder who it belongs to. Okay, so Chariot would be next. For the William Blake, it's called Experience, but we get a chariot feel to this card. Instead of horses, we've got human-looking figures pulling this cart. Here is the Chariotess for the Margarete Petersen, but we do have two animal figures here pulling this being in this cart of light and fire. And the Chariot card here, we've got people with, there's a cart back there. That cart does not look like it's ready to be moving anytime soon, though. These people are not ready to move. They're looking at something. Wonder what they're looking at. I don't see it right off the bat. Okay, so the next would be... Okay, yes, 8. So here we have justice at the position of 8. Let's see what's here. We have justice in the position of 8 in the Margarete Petersen as well. And here we... Oh, okay, good. So we have justice at 8 in all 3 of these decks. Interesting. So instead of strength, we have justice. Assessment, we got the balance, we got the figure, we got the... we got the pillars, but they're connected in an arch with 2 angels above in the William Blake. Here we have... What do we have in the Margarete Petersen? This could be a sword here. I see a figure, I see a hand and a figure here. Looks like the sun and the sky. Here in the Justice card, again, we have a lot of different figures. And none of them look particularly happy, do they? This figure looks like it's looking down at this figure. One nice thing about this deck is gender is not necessarily all that clear. Okay. Nor is skin type all that clear either, right? Okay. Moving on to 9, which would be the Hermit. But here it's imagination. Here it's the crone, like that actually. And here we have the Hermit. So, looks like a being with a child here in the Gnostic Tarot. Out in nature, perhaps. Looks like there's a river going, well, flowing in the background. Looks like there's a tower here, perhaps. I don't know. In the crone, I see perhaps a crone figure here. Looks like there's... It could be a cave with a sun outside of the opening of the cave. Could be. Not exactly sure. And here we have imagination. But we get the figure, we got a kind of lamp image here in the hand. And instead of a cave or being out on top of the mountains, this figure looks like they're going inside of a structure, going into a structure. Could be a church, could be some other kind of structure. Here we have 10, the whirlwind. Whirlwind for the Wheel of Fortune. Here we have the Wheel of Life for the Wheel of Fortune. And in the Gnostic Tarot, we have the Wheel of Fortune for the Wheel of Fortune. And we have all of these figures in a circular shape, right? Can you see the circle in the shape of these, the way these figures are placed? And perhaps the head of this figure is the center of the wheel. Here we have a Wheel of Life with one face and this... Oh, there's another face. Maybe this is another face. And a swirling energy in a circle, kind of like a vortex. And here, the whirlwind looks kind of like a Chariot card, if you ask me. There's a figure riding this thing, which is being pulled perhaps by this 3-headed figure. Not Janus, because there are 3 heads, maybe a 4th. Now, if this were a Hindu deck, I would say that this was Brahman, but this is not a Hindu deck, is it? Could this be the cherubim? The 4-headed, could be a 4-headed cherubim. Yes, that's probably what that is. That's what that is. And this is probably, tell me in the comments below. The cherubim are connected with a kind of, it's not really a wheel, but it's an orb. And it starts with an M. It's not Methuselah. It's not Merkaba, like a Merkaba, maybe. Oh, I'm so not certain of what I'm saying. Maybe you know. Tell me in the comments below. 11. So 11, this would be strength in a Tarot de Marseille. In the Thoth would be lust. And here we have energy, strength. Okay, so far of all of these cards, this card looks the least depressed to me. Not exactly sunny, bright, and happy, but the less depressed. Perhaps it's because of the yellow. I don't know. The strength, we have, instead of a lion, we've got a different kind of creature. Perhaps a kind of dragon creature with horns, maybe. And a female-looking figure with the sacral chakra all lit up, energy flowing up. We got the moons going around. Interesting. Here for energy, we've got a figure. Looks kind of male to me, but not necessarily male. We've got 2 lions and maybe a phoenix or some other bird. We've got a peacock. We've got a whole zoo around them. Very interesting. Okay, so 4, 12, my card. Reversal for the Hanged Man. Trial for the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man for the Hanged Man. This hanged... Oh, yes, there is a hanging figure here. There's a head with legs going up. So that's good. I like that. This hanged person here looks definitely like a hanged man, even though the card says trial. Love the sun and the moon here is where the tie is tied. And the leg that is suspended is tied instead of to 2 poles to the sun and the moon. I love that. Love the phoenix below. Love the 2 colored faces here, blue and red-ish. Blue face is facing fire, reddish face is facing water. That's cool. I love this card. And then here for the reverse, again, oh yes, Phoenix. I mentioned the Phoenix. Here for the reversal card, we've got this figure not tied up. They look like they've slipped down and they're facing the water from above. Perhaps a fallen angel, maybe, I don't know. What do you think? Okay, so 13, this would be death, and it's called transformation. Here it's called death. Here is the unnamed card. I like that. I like that. I like that there's no title for the card 13. That is cool. And this kind of looks like the underworld, if you ask me. This looks like a bunch of figures. Notice the skull here. There's one skull. Looks like the underworld to me. Here, we've got a skeleton here, and we have a figure with the white and the black, light and dark. We've got a snake coming up here, a snake coming down here, white snake, black snake, earth and sun, star, universe and planets, stars. This is a beautiful card too. Transformation, what do I get here? Now, this could be an angel of death, I suppose, in a way. Red is a little bit surprising, but this could be an angel of death, but it's only in a square cutout. There's another figure which is very difficult to determine, although this figure does have a scythe. Now, the figure behind this square cutout, the figure in kind of a grayish white, is the figure that's holding the scythe. Fascinating. Very interesting. Okay. Angels. There are a lot of angels in the sky in the William Blake Tarot. Not in every card. And perhaps not in as many cards as I had imagined. But like here, in Assessment, there are angels in the upper right-hand corners, right? And let's see, can I find another one quickly? Yeah, here are angels here at the top corner of the knowledge card. You see those angels here and here? So, is that part of William Blake's art, or was this part of the collaging of William Blake's art? I'm not sure. We see angelic figures, perhaps, or human figures down here, very, very small. Very interesting. Okay, that's 13. Moving on to 14, which would be temperance in most decks. We have forgiveness. Interesting. Mediatrix, that kind of makes sense for a temperance card. And then we've got temperance. So, like I said, I'm not getting temperance images from this card. I'm getting something else off. What am I getting? I see a skull down here. I see a column of human figures. 1 face, 2 face, 3 faces with a hand. We get more hands down here below. These perhaps look like fish. I don't know. So this deck is going to be very difficult for me to read without referring to the book. Perhaps. I don't know. We'll have to see how I end up reading with this deck. Here we have the Matrix, which is, I think, wonderful for a temperance card. We've got this female presenting figure with a hand in the sun and a hand in the daylight, a hand in the night. We've got water flowing down here. I love the rainbow. And in the forgiveness card, we have what looks like, to me, a Western European Christ-like figure with 2 angels, with 4 angels, I should say. But we have a cup on one side, and perhaps, is that supposed to be bread? Interesting. That would make sense for temperance, wouldn't it? Kind of a temperance in the sense of a forgiveness sense of temperance with the wine and bread, perhaps. We have shepherds here with sheep. Another Christ symbol. Interesting. Okay, so for the devil, we have error, we have the devil, and we have the devil. Now, frankly speaking, this devil card does not look any less what? Dark than the Empress card or the Magician card to me. So, like I said, this deck, this Gnostic Tarot is going to take some work for me. The devil here. What do we get? Now, the William Blake, definitely we see a devil-like figure, a kind of sexy devil with wings behind them and a lot of people under the devil's spell, perhaps. Error, the fallen angel. The angel has fallen from error of pride, perhaps. Here in this devil card from the Margarete Petersen, we have, look at the eyes here, the eye here and the eye here. Now, we're drawn into this card. Perhaps like we might be drawn into temptation or drawn into something that pulls us away from the fullness of our self-being, maybe. Do these eyes look sad to you? Does this look a little bit vaginal to you as well? Now remember, this is a deck created by a woman, so what I'm saying is this is not a man's interpretation of and trying to place the female onto the devil. This is a woman drawing this image. So, and it does look very vaginal to me, which is interesting. Temptation to return to the womb, maybe. I don't know. Okay, moving on to 16, which would be the Tower, lightning, which is a traditional name for I'm thinking of in too many languages right now. Okay, which is a traditional name for the Tower card. Yeah, Tower in some Tarot de Marseille, it's Le Maison Dieu, the house god, the house of God, but it's also the lightning card in some of the older decks, pre-Nicholas Conver, and in some others as well. But lightning, Le Fauve, is another symbol for card 16. Here we have the Tower, and we have the Tower here. No more or less upset looking people than in the other cards, if you ask me. This center card here, we've got this sense of something breaking in from the top. I got this. And it looks like something breaking apart here. But I also see a bird. Do you see a bird here? Like a falcon or some kind of bird of prey coming down? For the William Blake card, we've definitely got this angel with lightning coming down. We've got structures breaking apart. Humans looking... Yeah, we got fallen humans here. But this human doesn't look like they're in such bad shape in the center. The others around them, we got a laying down one with legs in the air. But this figure here in the center looks like they're okay, if you ask me. Okay, so here we have the star card. Stars in the William Blake, the star in the Margarete Petersen, and the star in the Gnostic Tarot. And this star card does not look more hopeful than the devil or the tower card. Although I like the birds here in the background. I hadn't noticed many other creatures, but these birds were very popped out at me. The star here, one central star with this vortex of energy either coming out or going into it in kind of a rainbow fashion, right? Yellow going, well, not exactly. Okay, so not exactly a rainbow. This goes from blue to green to yellow. We don't exactly get to red in the spiral. The red's out here. But star, sure. Light. Moving into the... Go into the light. What is it? Move towards the light. Is that the quote? The quote's not coming to me. Okay, so here we have the star card here. And we have a female-looking figure with a book looking somewhat like a high priestess to me. But we got stars in the sky. We got figures in the sky. Perhaps the constellations. We got humans down here in the ground. Here up above, this female figure looks like they're in a cave, perhaps ready to emerge. But this really has a high priestess vibe, a high priestess feel to me. These look like the pillars of the high priestess. Okay, the moon card. Oh, there's a moon. Okay. The moon card. And the moon card. I see no moon in the Gnostic Tarot. We got a building up here on a cliff. We got figures here. Okay. I'm really not sure how I'm going to be reading with this deck. Here we have the moon. Definitely Rider-Waite-Smith, Tarot de Marseille, very similar. Very similar. We got the two dogs here, one howling, one laying down. We got the two towers. We got the crustacean is out of the water already, but we've got the water down here. We got the moon up in the sky. We got the sun in the morning and the moon at night. Here in the moon card, what do we have? We have a pair of lovers here. Perhaps those are lovers as well. We've got the moon. We've got the water. We got the moon reflecting on the water. Beautiful card. Looking less like illusion and a little bit more like romance to me, which is another way to read the moon card. Okay, here would be the sun. Ta-ta-da-da! The sun card. We have a divine, perhaps, figure coming down from the sun. Oh, that's a very sunny card. Let's see what the brightest card in the deck looks like in the Gnostic. Okay. But these faces don't look all that happy. These are very upset-looking faces to me. I don't see joy. I don't see success in this card. I see, look at this. We have two figures here embracing below the sun. Do you see the figures? One head. Here's an arm. Here's another arm. Lovely, fiery energy. And here we have a divine being coming down from a sun in the William Blake. We got figures flying towards the figure coming down from the sun. One figure with their feet definitely on ground, perhaps drawing. Interesting. And what would be next would be the Judgment card or Liberty for William Blake, Renewal for Margarete Petersen, and Judgment for the Judgment card. And okay, so here's one thing. We got this person coming up out of the ground. So I kind of do see the Judgment card in this card. Maybe it's the first one. Really see, that is the Judgment card. Renewal, okay. Kind of looks like the Ace of Wands to me. But the 20 and the Renewal, that will definitely tip me off that this is not the Ace of Wands. And here we have Liberty. Now, we do see figures rising up from tombs here, risen up from tombs, rising up into the sky. We have the sky people and angels here on the sides. Interesting that we've got a text down here in the corner. Book of Knowledge, maybe Book of Wisdom. What is the World card going to look like? Here we have Union for the World card in the William Blake. Okay. And the World for the World in Margarete Petersen, and the World for the World in the Gnostic Tarot. Looks like a puppet master. Now do you see the puppet sticks here? So which one of these is the puppet, is the question. Coming down to, is it this figure, maybe? Are these the children of this figure? Is this a bull with horns here in the corner? Now, if this were a normal card, like Pamela Coleman Smith art, or I think even Lady Frida Harris has the 4 creatures, the Taurus would be down here, right? Not up here. Here, what do we have? We have the sun and moons, maybe. Interesting. Lots of stuff around this central figure, looking somewhat like the Sun card to me, but Union, the World, 21. I get it. This looks more like a World card to me. Now we got instead of a laurel, we got energy surrounding this central figure, and we got the energy coming out of the root or sacral chakra. We've got corners here a bit delineated. Okay, so we're moving into the minor arcana. What do we have for the minor arcana? We have the Ace of Painting, Creativity, Generation. Now, the William Blake is going to give us titles on the minor arcana. Ace of Flames, makes sense. Oh, this is water. What the heck? I thought I had this organized correctly. Just a moment. This is water, not fire. Air. Okay, this is going to be easy. Earth. Okay, I accidentally put the fire at the back. Okay, so 2. Come on. I don't know what I was doing off camera. Okay, so here we have the Ace of Fire. Creativity. I love this flame in the center. Generation. Ace of Painting. Painter. Not sure what that is. Here we have the 2. 2 is balance. 3 is practice. Now, just a moment. This makes me think that painting might be the earth suit. Generation. Whoops, sorry. Got a little bit excited here. Balance. Let me take a look at this. Just a moment. Okay, so I've changed my mind. I think that the poetry suit is the fire suit. Now, why? Because of the titles. The titles of what I thought was the the fire suit, the wand suit, which is painting. And I thought painting brush, that looks like a wand, right? So what I thought was the wand suit, then looking at the titles again, those titles going from ace to 10, they followed keywords that reminded me much more of the pentacles or the earth suits. And this one reminds me more of the fire suit. So, Ace of Poetry. Now you'll notice that in the poetry suit, there are going to be small poems. I come on still. I'm not going to read all of these, but let me bring this up closer so that I can read it. Let's see. I come in self-annihilation to cast off the rotten rags of, difficult for me to read, Mercury by inspiration, to cast aside from poetry all that is not inspiration. To cast aside from poetry all that is not inspiration. Individuality. So one nice thing is that the inside of the poetry, I think we'll be able to find the keyword for the card as well. So that's a nice touch. This is the Ace of Poetry for the William Blake, and I believe poetry is the fire suit. Now you'll notice that these cards are not cut all that perfectly. Yeah, they're a little bit off center. And I'm not going to be able to get another copy, I don't think, because this edition is out of print and I got one of those stray copies. So I don't think I'll be able to send it back to the publisher and say, get me one that's cut right. But it doesn't bother me too much. Yeah, the floral decorations on the side being a little bit off to the left doesn't bother me. So here we have individuality for the 2 of poetry. And in Rider-Waite-Smith decks, we would see a figure looking off into the sky, into space, trying to figure out what to do, where to go. I get that feeling from this card here. This could be a mirror, but it could also be a lens looking into the distance. 2 of Flames. We have 2 flames here. And then here, the 2 of Fire. We have 2 figures here, looking like they're getting ready to beat up their dinner or something. I don't know what's going on there. 3 of Poetry, creativity. Now, do you see why I decided that this is the fire suit? Now, the 3 of Wands is where you actually start getting stuff done, right? It's the actual manifestation, the beginning of manifestation, the setting out on your course, creativity. I must create. 3 of Flames. Now, really, I don't see much of a difference here from the 2 of Flames. I mean, it's different art, definitely. But if I didn't have this title, I wouldn't be able to tell that, well, this is the planning stage and this is the beginning to work on it stage, if you understand what I mean. I don't get 3-ness particularly from this and 2-ness particularly from this. So I would really need these titles. 3 of Flames, we got 4 figures here. 3 of Fire. 4 of Poetry. Harmony. Yeah, it makes sense. The 4 of Wands is usually a harmony, sometimes a marriage card. 4 of Flames. Okay, good. Beautiful card. I see sunlight reflecting on the earth in some way. Here we have 4 of Fire. Not much to say here. 5 of Poetry, 5 of Flames, 5 of Fire. Now strife, right? The 5 Wands, they're conflict, competition. And I can see a little bit of competition of people perhaps in conflict or playing together here in the 5 of Flames. These figures look like they're in conflict, but really, do they look much more conflict than many of the other cards? I'm not so sure. Here we have the Six of Wands, which would be, okay, cooperation instead of victory, but that works. A victory is a kind of cooperation, right? Six of Flames, Six of Fire. These baby heads are a little bit creepy. And the Seven of Wands, which is boldness, Seven of Flames, Seven of Fire. Now in Pixie's art, we've got those wands coming up from below, right? With one figure up on a hill and one stick, one wand, one baton being held in the hand, and six coming up from below. So there's a kind of a boldness, a defensiveness in that card. So instead of defensiveness and holding one's ground, we've got boldness, which kind of works, right? I see one figure here and maybe another kneeling here in this Margarete Petersen card. And it looks like this figure down here is the central figure, and maybe this is the unconscious aspect of this figure. Looking at maybe a letter or a card, holding a mask, maybe their persona. Okay, Eight of Wands, which is fire, swiftness, yes. Eight of Flames, cool. Does that look more or less swift or fiery than, say, the Four of Flames or the Three of Flames? I don't know. Oh, I do see one thing. I just noticed one thing. This bow and arrow, that helps. And I can see a bird figure up here. Okay, I'm beginning to see a little bit more in the Margarete Petersen deck. This is going to take a lot of sitting with, reading the book and sitting with and studying this deck. And so there are some decks that I believe are worth that not all decks need to be easy to read right out of the box. Some decks that really call us to go deep into each individual card and work with it and work on it and try to understand and live the card, perhaps, like a one card a day kind of deck. Whereas these, I believe, would be okay to read in spreads, maybe. I'm not sure I'd be able to read with this in a spread easily. And definitely not right away, if you understand what I mean. Okay, 9, which is powers. More empowering than a lot of the decks. Powers. Instead of that beat up soldier or person being defending something, defending themselves, defending. The 9 here, this is a powerful card. We are placed here by the universal brotherhood and mercy with powers fitted to circumscribe this dark satanic death. Okay. Maybe that's not satanic. No, that's satanic. That's right. This dark satanic death. So, this is a figure holding their ground in the midst of darkness, I guess. The 9 of Flames here. I see a figure down here at the bottom. Maybe that's a horse head. I don't know. And then the 9 of Flames here. A lot going on, and I'm not really sure what to say about it. Like I said, I think I bit off a little bit more than I could chew when I decided to put these 3 decks together. But we do see 3 very artistic and very differently conceived artistic decks together. 10 of Flames. Yeah, that last bit. Prophecy. Interesting. We got prophecy instead of burden. But I see the 4 cherubim, the 4, cherubim. In the 10, interesting. 10 of Flames here, 10 of Fire here. Okay, and let's move on to, now I think the angel is the page in the William Blake. So this is the page of the Angel of Poetry, Angels stand round my spirit. And I think this is the page because angels are messengers, right? Pages are messengers. Also, angels are not yet incarnated if they do incarnate. Here we have a daughter of flame, a little bit Thoth-like, princess daughter. Yeah. Here we have a girl, wounded child. Interesting. Wounded child, and in reverse, it would be a healer. So for the court cards in the Gnostic Tarot, we've got keywords for the court cards with upright and reversed meanings, which is interesting. I like that. And here we have the child, which would be, I think, the knight of poetry, of fire, the son of flames, boy. Upright, it's poet. Reversed, it would be rebel. See William in the flames here? Interesting. Interesting. I found them blind, William. And the woman of poetry. Look at her. Love her. And the mother of flames and the woman of fire. Upright heroine, reversed seductress. Okay. Love the keywords. Don't exactly see heroine in this card yet, because there's too much there for me to see right off the bat. Too many places for my eyes to look. Okay, and here we have the man of poetry, the father of flames, and the man of fire. Machinus? I'm not sure what that means. And then up reversed it would be Mr. Okay, Mr. and Machinus. Don't know what Machinus means. Moving on to the Ace of Music. So, Ace of Music, this would be water, passion. Ace of Cups, Ace of Water. Lovely card. The art, I love the art in this deck. I love the art. I just don't know what it means. I don't know what I'm seeing yet. And it all seems so sad and dark to me. But that's good. Okay, so shadow deck, right? I don't believe in shadow. I don't believe in shadow decks. I don't believe in doing specific shadow work personally, but I guess maybe I might try and give it a shot with this deck. Two of Cups and the Two of Water. Contraries for the Two of Cups, which is interesting because usually we would think of the Two of Cups as being the Lover's card, right? But I don't think this is air. I don't think this is air. I think there's the two of the next suit, the Two of Science, I think is air. Yeah, I think this is reflection. Okay, yeah, I think this is a very dark way of looking at the Two of Cups. Two of Cups, Two of Water. Three of Cups, exuberance. Three of Cups, Three of Water. Beautiful art. I don't see what I usually like to see in a Three of Cups card, a figures coming together, but there are a lot of figures there. Okay. Exuberance, beauty. Four of Cups, music, musing. Now that figure sitting underneath the tree, musing. Now it could be Four of Swords, but I think the Science suit has got to be swords. Four of Cups, Four of Water. Very airy looking suit, the card here, right, with those clouds. Five of Music, melancholy. Yeah, that makes sense for the Five of Cups, right? Five of Cups. These drops in water with the rings coming out. Five of Water. Looking a little depressed, but so do most of the cards in the Gnostic Tarot. Six of Music, pleasure. Six of Cups, yeah, the childish nostalgia card. It's pleasure here. Six of Cups, Six of Water. Looking a little scary to me. 7 of water. 7 would be the fancies. Okay, so here, fancies. The dreams, illusions, fancies. 7 of cups. 7 of water. Okay, let's move on to the 8 of music, which is discontent. That makes sense. The 8 of cups, discontent, moving on. 8 of water, 8 of cups. I wish I had more to tell you about that deck. Here we have, now discontent. Does this look discontented to me? Not exactly sure. I mean, these figures look like they're joyfully welcoming this beast from above. Maybe they're running away scared. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Okay. And the 9 of cups. Happiness. Makes sense, right? Happiness. 9 of water. The wish card. Happiness. Do you see that here? I don't see it here. Love what looks like a pearl in an oyster shell to me. Happiness. Better than seeing that portly dude in front of a wall of cups of goblets. I mean, I like that card. I do like that card. I have nothing against Pamela Coleman Smith's art. But it's nice to have difference, right? 10 of water, which would be family, sublimity. Yeah, the sublime, sublimity. 10 of cups, the family, the rainbow. Sharing emotion effusively. Okay, here we have the angel of music. Lovely angel. Glyphs or something in their wings, right? I'm not sure what those are. It's kind of a shooting star here. Daughter of cups. Now, wait a second, did I skip one? Okay, now I think this should be girl of cups first. The damsel. Reverse it would be the shrew. The child of music. Piping down. Okay, so there are poems. I'm sorry. When I said there are poems in the poetry deck, there are also poems here in the music deck, right? I'm sorry, in the music deck. In the music suit. There were poems in the music suit for, yeah, all of them. But I think it stops here. Child of music, son of cups. And the boy of water, which is the seeker, upright and reversed, it's the addict. It kind of makes sense. And the woman of music. Lovely woman with a lyre, with water, stepping in the water. Mother of cups, love that. Oops, sorry. Where's the girl? Where's the woman? Okay, so woman is down here. The order is a little bit wonky. So, woman of water. Upright mother, reversed, it's martyr. That's okay, I'll sit here in the dark. You eat all of my food, it's okay. I do it all for you. I suffer in silence for you. I do, I suffer in silence for you. Love this image here in the center. Looking very Hindu, doesn't she? Okay, and moving on to the man of music. Kind of a Merlin figure with a large lyre. The father of cups. And the man of water. Upright companion. Reversed loner. That kind of makes sense to me for the King of Cups. Okay. I like that we've gone past royals for these decks too. Ace of feathers, which would be the ace of air, right? Ace of air. And scissors, which would make me think of the two of air, actually, if you had to ask me, but okay. cutting things apart, cutting things open. A peacock feather, love peacock feathers. Ace of Science, intellect. See, that's why I'm sure this is the air suit, intellect. Two of Science, reflection. Two of feathers, two feathers, and the Two of Air. Here we have the Three of Science, which is jealousy. Now, Three of Swords. Instead of heartbreak, we've got jealousy, which makes sense, right? Three of Feathers, bloody Three of Feathers, and the Three of Air. Well, there's an angry dog here at the top. I haven't noticed angry dogs in the other cards. Four of Science. Look at that. Four of Air. That would be the meditation, right? Repose. There it is. The Four of Feathers. And we see a figure here in repose. I can get that there. Four of Air. And I don't see much different from, the art is definitely different from card to card, but I don't get that much of a different understanding about what I see in the cards. They all look like part of the same movie, just frame to frame to frame in a way. Not that they really go in sequence, but I hope you understand what I mean. Five of Swords. Five of Science. Division. Division for the Five of Swords. Does that make sense? Yeah, it kind of makes sense. There's that battleground, and one person has conquered, but at what cost? We think of that. Those thoughts come to our minds when we think of the Five of Swords. Five of Science, division, yeah. Five of Feathers, we've got a little bit more blood in the Five of Feathers. These birds look like they're definitely fighting. Five of Air. Not much different from the Repose card to me. There's no barking dog at the top. I don't know. Here we have the Six of Swords, which would be moving on. Passage. Yes, passage. But goodness, it looks like a lot of damage has been done in this card. Look at that lightning, the red lightning coming down. Six of Feathers. Six of Air. Now, I can see passage in this. I can see a figure lying in a boat with water. I get something out of this right away. Definitely see Six of Swords in this card. Woohoo! I figured one out. Well, at least I figured out the surface of it. Here we have the Seven of Swords, which is lamentation. Not limitation, lamentation. The Seven of Air. Seven of Feathers. Look at butterfly. A Seven of Swords we often think of as a person trying to get away from something, stealing something, but here it's lamentation. Seven of Feathers, flying away, going their own way. That's another way that I like to think of. Oh, but notice this bird up here, ready to grab it. Oh, that's no longer as safe and comfy looking a card, is it? And then the Seven of Air over in the Gnostic Tarot. Here we go with the Eight of Science, which is the bound person. Yep, we got a bound person here. Restriction. Eight of Feathers here. See the angry face down here at the bottom? Perhaps birds up above. I love this image. Not exactly sure what it means, though. Looks like, hold me, please, I'm hurting. And this is the claw of the foot claw of some kind of a creature. Looks like a bird's head here at the top. Okay, the Nine of Science, which is despair here. The Nine of Swords, often the nightmare card, the anxiety card. Here it's despair. This skeleton definitely looks like it's despairing. But above, we see what looks like a mother and child looking pretty happy, right? Nine of air. Interesting. Nine of feathers. Okay, the 10, not the stabbed in the back card, defeat, right? 10 of feathers. A lot of red in these cards. 10 of air. Could be defeated, but not necessarily. I don't know. Does this person look more defeated than other cards? Not so sure. Do you see people's backs here? One figure in the center and two human backs on the sides? Oh, now these three people look like they're in trouble. This is the worst case scenario hanged person image. Oh, over the pit of flames. Wow, that's harsh. The snake heads coming. Wow, that's a really harsh card. Perhaps even more harsh than the card with the person lying in this 10 swords stabbed in the back, because that's over. Those three people are still in the middle of it. Angel of Science. Quis basin demonstrate. That which basin, I don't know, demonstrates. Is demonstrated. I don't know. Okay. Daughter of feathers, girl of air, upright masochist. Ooh. Upside down or reversed, it's sadist. Masochist sadist for the girl of air. That's harsh. And the child of science. Oh, it's very sweet children. Son of feathers. Love that little red dragon-like thing in the corner. Feather here. Boy of air, we have upright, it's idealist. Reversed, it's saboteur. Ooh. Now those are good opposites. Idealist and saboteur. And the woman of science. Love this. I really love this. I love the women with the telescope and this huge star. And the compass down there. Women doing, I like seeing women doing science. We don't see enough, because we don't see enough of it. Not because, oh, it's special. Look at these unique women that there are no other women in the world who do science, but it's because we don't see it enough. And I love seeing it. Mother of feathers. Look at that eye is huge. And then the woman of air, upright, it's wise old woman. Makes sense. And reversed, it's witch. Another kind of wise old woman. Never mind. Man of science. Love that. I also like the collaboration of the women of science. This is one guy up there by himself doing it, trying to get it all done by himself. I like the women working together as well. We guys need to learn how to work together as well. Father of feathers. Again, I love this blue, and I love the color of the father and mother of feathers. Oh, I just noticed the storks up here in the sky. These are also a bird symbolizing knowledge and wisdom in Korea. FYI. Man of science. Upright hero. Man of science. Man of air. Upright is hero. Reversed, it's tyrant. Counting chickens before they hatched, I wonder, is what I get from this, but you know, I've got that kind of a brain. Ace of coins, the ace of earth. Generation, that makes sense. Love this figure here. Venus-looking figure. Ace of coins, got a definite ace kind of shape here in the middle, ace of coins. And the ace of earth here. And balance for the two of coins, yeah? The two objects being juggled in the air. We've got balance here. We got a lemniscate here for the two of coins in the Margarete Petersen. And then in this deck, what do we have? I see a chair. I see figures flying in the air. I don't know. I just don't know yet. I'm sorry. And moving on to practice for the three of coins. That makes sense, right? Three of coins here. Look, this foot cracks me up. And okay, I get three figures here in the Three of Earth, perhaps working together to generate. Never quite thought of the Three of Earth as a pregnancy card, but maybe. It's kind of generation working together, and it takes two to tango. So, Four of Earth painting means, yeah? The means, the coinage, the material property to get along, to be able to be physically stable in the world. Yeah, means. Four of coins, Four of Earth. I was going to comment on the squareness of these shapes, but there's squares in the water cards, there's squares in the air cards, so my commenting on the square, I don't think, is very meaningful. Five of coins, Five of painting, Five of Earth, Five of painting, hardship. That makes sense? Now the Five of Pentacles, the figures outside of the church. We have figures outside, we got people, I don't know. We could read this in many ways, reaching out to help or reaching out to point and laugh. Who knows? Five of coins, Five of Earth. The Six of Pentacles, assistance. That makes sense, right? The person with the means giving to those without. Here it's somebody helping another person out of the water. I like that actually a little bit better. Six of coins here, we got hands and feet. Now here, it's interesting. This figure looks older than this figure, but they both look like adults. So it looks like the older figure is carrying the younger figure, which is an interesting, unexpected pairing. Usually we think of the younger figure carrying the older figure, right? And it might not even be carrying. It might just be an affectionate gesture. They could be lovers for all I know. Okay, Seven of coins. It's patience. Yeah, waiting for things to happen, assessing what's going on. Seven of coins. Oh, love this figure of the lamb being held by its caretaker. Interesting. Seven of coins. Okay, we got the cave paintings. At least that's what they look like to me. Maybe an iris or some kind of flower growing out of the wall, maybe. Patience. This figure here, I suppose, is being patient and waiting. Jerusalem. Interesting. Okay. 8 is the one of mastering one's craft. Here it's discipline. 8 of coins. Okay, so this looks like some craft might be going on in this card here. I see hands working on this thing. Maybe. 8. The 9 of paintings was fruition. Yeah? Fruition, I usually think of satisfaction to me, the woman standing outside in her garden with her falcon and her grapes. Fruition, that makes sense too. Angels in wheels up in the sky, that's cool. Kind of a Zen garden. It reminds me of a Zen garden with a large rock in the center and the sand shaped in circles around it. 9 of Earth. And the 10 of coins, or the 10 of painting, which here is delight. That makes sense. Although usually we think of legacy and ancestry, but here it's delight. Okay. 10 of coins. I love this labyrinth here. I love labyrinths. 10 of Earth here. We got an older figure in the center with other people kind of on their back, maybe. Like this older figure is carrying all of their generations of family after them. Kind of get that feeling from this card. Okay, here we have the Angel of Painting. And you notice there weren't any poems in the painting cards, right? Now there weren't any poems in this suit of paintings. And there weren't any, were there poems? There weren't any poems in the suit of air either, right? So for the suit of air, the science suit, and the painting suit, there were no poems. But there were poems in the water and the fire suits for this deck. What does it say? The graphic muse? Graphic muse, okay. Angel of painting, daughter of coins, I love that. Sorry, here we go with this should be the girl of earth. Virgin, reversed its prostitute. Okay, that's harsh. And the child of painting. This is the first one that really looks like a child, right? On a dolphin, perhaps, or maybe it's a squid, I don't know. A son of coins. Love this image. This very ancient looking disc carved with designs, and this figure here looking like they're in a yoga pose, perhaps. And then for the boy, we have mediator, reversed its hedonist. Okay. And here we have the woman of painting. With painting. They're actually painting, right? Here we have the mother of coins. You see a mother figure. I can see a mother figure there. I'm not entirely sure it has to be a mother, but I can see a mother figure there. And then for the woman, the woman, oh, okay, let's do here. The woman of earth, we have upright benefactress, makes sense. Reversed, the destroyer. Ooh, the destroyer of worlds. And then here, the man of painting, the father of coin, and the man of earth. Upright father, reversed, it's storyteller. I wonder if they mean storyteller like liar. Storyteller sounds pretty. I like storytellers. I don't know. Anyways, okay. So what do you think? What do you think of these decks? Do you see more in the Gnostic Tarot than I was able to see? I also had trouble reading in the Margaret Payne the pip cards. Like if there were not a title to the court cards I get, but if there had not been a title, actually, you know what? Even in the court cards without a title, I'm not sure I would have known what I was looking at. For example, here, the Son of Cups. I'm not exactly sure I would have known offhand that this was a court card if there were not a title. So for the minors, especially in the Margarete Petersen, without a title, I wouldn't know what I was looking at all, I don't think. For the William Blake, I think I see more in the cards, even if there were not a title to them. I think I would be able to read with this deck more easily. This a little less so, and this much less so. So what do you think? What do you think of these decks? This video has gone on long enough that I don't think it's time. I have time to shuffle and pull cards from each one of these decks. But I am going to do it. Okay, so if you're interested, I'm not going to do a full shuffle, but what I'm going to do is a really, really rudimentary shuffle of these cards. And I'm going to pull a card from each one of these decks and see what we get. I'm going to do a really, really quick shuffle of each one of these. And just so you know, the William Blake Tarot shuffles like a dream. It shuffles beautifully. I'm just pulling one card, so let's see. Well, that's the shuffle. Now let's see what the shuffle of the Margarete Petersen is like. Okay, that shuffles wonderfully. Oh, it bridges wonderfully too. So the cardstock, they're all a little bit glossy, just so you know. They're all a little bit glossy, but they shuffle wonderfully. So let me see. Boom, boom, boom. Just pulling out one card. So a really rudimentary shuffle is fine. Overhand for the Margarete Petersen is great. I love the backs of the Margarete Petersen. None of these backs are absolutely reversible, right? I mean, if that means anything to you. You could tell what is upright and what is not for, well, yep, even for the Gnostic Tarot. You can tell what is upright and what is not. So if that makes any difference to you, that's something to keep in mind. I'm not sure what the newer version of the William Blake's backs look like. Let's see, here we go. So just one more. Yep, they all shuffle wonderfully. They all shuffle absolutely wonderfully. Boom, boom, boom. Let me pick these up and do an overhand. And then we're just going to randomly pick a card from each one of the decks and see if I can see anything in what I'm looking at. Okay, so here we go. What is a message that would benefit us today? What am I going to get from the William Blake? I'm going to get this card, which is the Child of Music. The Child of Music, which was the music cards. Okay, just a moment. So, from the Margarete Petersen, what is the message we would like to hear today? What would you benefit from hearing today? We have the Emperor. Okay. And from the Gnostic Tarot, what is a message we would benefit from hearing today? The Four of Fire. Now we've got fire in both of these cards, right? Four of Fire. Stability. Making form. And the Child of Music, what does the poem say? It says, piping down the... Piping down the valleys wild, piping songs of pleasant glee. So, let me see. Four of Music, I think, is the Four of Cups. Yes, the Four of Cups. So, Four of Cups to me generally is reflection, a little bit of boredom, perhaps dissatisfaction. But this person doesn't look. Oh, this is the child. What am I saying? It's not four. The child. So, yes, the Four of the Child of Cups, which is the Page of Cups. Which is the Knight of Cups. Okay, so this is so I told you this is going to be hard for me because I'm not used to these decks. This is the Knight of Cups. So romance, yeah? Which makes sense. Okay, so piping down the valleys wild, piping songs of pleasant glee. The poet, going out to find love, to find the poetry, to find loving interactions in the world, to find romance, moves us into the Emperor, yeah? We go out into the world looking for romance, and we want to create our world. We want to create our stable place of being, our stable environment. We want to create and organize and make orderly our world. And if we do that, then we'll have the chance to celebrate what we have accomplished. We'll have the chance to also do the creative work of the passions within, of unifying self perhaps, of getting the four aspects of the inner self, ego, shadow, anima, animus, and the self, getting all four of those aspects perhaps together here. So we ride out into the world looking for romance and love, and then we realize we want to get some structure. We want to get things formed. And when we get things formed, then we can start integrating ourselves. We can start perhaps doing the work of individuation. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so that's where I'm going. That's what I've got for us now. So friends, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Now, hit like if you're still with me to tell me and YouTube that you got benefit from this video and get more eyes on it and on the channel. Hit the subscribe button if you have not yet subscribed, and hit the alarm bell to know when I've uploaded videos. I do at least 2 a week, sometimes more. I will be doing more in July. And share this on other platforms. Yeah, you can share links to this video on other platforms and let other people see this. And comment below. I would really love to hear from you. What do you think? What do you think of these decks? Do you have these decks? Are you interested in getting these decks? Which of them is interesting for you to read with? Do you see more in the Gnostic Tarot than I am seeing right at the moment? Let me know. And friends, if you want a private reading from me, I'll have my Instagram link below in the description, so you can hop over there and send me a direct message, and we can get you a reading with maybe one of these decks or with something a little bit easier for me. So friends, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.